if you want to improve your English speaking, the only way to do it is to practice speaking. And that's why we started the Acquire English Club. If you go to aenglish.club, you can learn more about it. So at the Acquire English Club, we have native English teachers. You can take unlimited classes and you can try it for free for 7 days. So really, when we're practicing speaking, what we really need is just someone to chat with, someone to get out our ideas of all that studying that we've been doing. So at the Acquire English Club, you get a chance to speak with the teachers, you get a chance to speak with other students, and what you get is feedback. And by feedback, what we mean is you say something, does the other person react positively? So if you say, how are you, or how is you? If you say, how are you? Of course, the other person will act normally, they'll answer the question. If you say, how is you, which of course is incorrect, you might get a kind of a strange look. And when we get those strange looks, when we get that feedback, that means we know, oh, maybe there's something I need to correct. Maybe there's some small thing I need to correct. So that's what we get when we can practice speaking with another person. There's a lot we can do at home, but we really need another person to talk to, another person to give us that feedback so we know what we're doing well and what we're not doing well. So if you go to aenglish.club, that's A-English for Acquire English.club, you can find out more about the Acquire English Club, and we hope to see you there soon. So welcome once again to the Acquire English Live. My name is Adam. I'm an English teacher from the United States. Every week, I'm joined by Tuan, an English teacher from the UK. And what we do is we talk about one of our videos. Every Saturday, sometimes Sunday, we release one of our training videos that you can go through, practice shadowing, practice your listening, speaking, and pronunciation. And then on usually a Tuesday, this week on a Thursday, we break down that video and talk about the grammar involved. So thanks for joining us. Tuan, how are you doing today?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. And in today's conversation, our two colleagues are talking about being very busy, right? How are you recently? Have you been busy recently?
A bit busy, yeah. Summer's usually a busy period, I find.
Yeah, especially around here. Kind of beginning of the year here is in April, right? It's beginning of the school year, is the beginning of kind of new employees enter companies generally in April. So April, people are busy doing that. And then in May, June, July, people start studying English a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a strange trend, but last few years I've noticed that.
Yeah, summer gets busy and then fall starts to slow down maybe a little bit, and then winter is kind of a dead period here. I would think more people would want to study when it's cold outside, but not always the case. But anyway, I'm always busy. I've got kids, that always keeps me busy. It's kind of I always feel like there's a good busy and a bad busy. So good busy is just staying busy with work, staying busy with productive things. A bad busy would be like this week I spilt water and broke a bunch of things, and then I had to fix some things. That's kind of bad busy. So I was bad busy a lot this week. But in today's conversation, two colleagues are talking about being busy. Let's have a listen.
This is crazy. We've been so busy lately.
I know. I could hardly take a break for lunch today. We could really use a couple more hands.
Do you think they will hire anyone soon?
I highly doubt it.
Do you want to grab a drink when we're done?
Yeah, I could definitely use a drink.
All right, and next we'll go line by line and break down the conversation. So the first sentence, we had this here.
This is crazy. We've been so busy lately.
So this is crazy. We've been so busy lately means it's surprising that there has been a lot of work recently. So crazy in this situation just means that normally we're not this busy, but we are very, very, very busy. So it's surprising. And then lately has the same meaning as recently, right? The past week or 2 weeks, maybe even a couple days could be recently. Okay. And the next line.
I know. I could hardly take a break for lunch today.
So I know I could hardly take a break for lunch today means, yeah, it was difficult to have lunch today. So this I know, we put, yeah, it's similar to I agree, right? We often use I agree when we want to, we often say I know to mean the same as I agree, right? So I could hardly take a break for lunch today. Again, means it was difficult to have lunch. It doesn't mean no lunch. It means maybe I only had 5 or 10 minutes. So when we use hardly, that means it's difficult to do. So you did it, but it was difficult to do. So for example, if you said, I hardly slept last night. So I hardly slept last night. Tuan, does that mean you slept 0 or you slept very little?
Very little.
Very little, right? So I hardly did something means I only did it a little, right? Can you think about any other situations recently? Maybe Tuan, you'd use hardly.
I hardly had time to spend with my family, or I've hardly talked to my family recently.
Yeah, I heard. So yeah, it means you talk to them sometimes, but not a lot, right? I hardly talk to my family, right? If you say I hardly eat anything for breakfast, means maybe sometimes you eat nothing and sometimes you eat a tiny amount. I hardly eat anything. Or it could just mean every day you eat a tiny bit for breakfast. So hardly, it's a little confusing, but it means you do it, just not very much. Hopefully that's okay. We do have another video on hardly, so maybe you should check that one out if you have any questions about it. So our next line.
We could really use a couple more hands.
So we could really use a couple more hands means we need more staff members, right? So a couple more hands in this case means just more people, right? We want their bodies as well. We don't just want their hands. We're not a horror movie here. Just means we need a couple more people. So we would use a couple more hands here. And the next line.
Do you think they will hire anyone soon?
So do you think they will hire anyone soon? Do you think the company will employ some new people? So hire, of course, means give someone a job, right? To hire. In this case, employ has the same meaning, to give someone a job. So in this case, do you think they means the company or the management in the situation, right? Not Tuan or I, just the company will find some new people to work here. Okay, did I miss anything there, Tuan?
No, I think that's fine.
Okay, and the next part.
I highly doubt it.
I highly doubt it. So I think there's very little chance of that. So we have a little 2%. There's really no percent here, but I highly doubt means I very much do not think they will do that. Is that okay? So for example, let's talk about soccer. Let's talk about football. Do you think the United States will win the next World Cup?
I highly doubt it.
I highly doubt it. Maybe that's closer to just a no, right? But highly doubt is maybe a polite way to say no in that situation, right? There's very, very little chance of the United States winning the World Cup. Maybe they will play, in the tournament. They will play, but their chance of Maybe, yeah, maybe they will play, right? But their chance
I'm
of
not
winning,
sure if they'll qualify.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need to talk about that. Just say I highly doubt it. Okay, so for example, if America, the United States, doesn't qualify for the World Cup, will a lot of people care? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt a lot of people will care if America, most Americans don't really care about soccer that much in general. So I highly doubt many people will care. I'm confident that many people will not care. Okay. Any other things? So we use highly doubt a lot. We use highly, another one with maybe recommend. So if there's something you really want to recommend, you can highly recommend a book or a movie or a restaurant. You're saying you should definitely read that book, go to that restaurant, see that movie. I highly recommend it. Maybe okay? Anything to add there, Tuan? Are we good?
I think it's okay.
Okay. And the next one.
Do you want to grab a drink when we're done?
Do you want to grab a drink when we're done means, would you like to go to the bar after work or a bar after work? The way here. And I feel like in a lot of our conversations, we use grab, maybe because I use grab a lot. And I think we've said before, like to go grab lunch, right? Do you want to grab lunch? I think it was the other example. So to grab lunch means go get lunch fairly quickly, eat, come back to work, right? If you're going to have lunch with your friend and you're going to sit there and talk for a couple hours, then we wouldn't say grab, right? But grab means kind of quickly do. So you want to grab a drink when we're done means go have a drink, maybe two, and go home, not sit at the bar all night or until the morning. It's just talking about doing something quickly. The grab has kind of a quick meaning to it. Okay. And the next sentence, which is our last sentence.
Yeah, I could definitely use a drink.
So yeah, I could definitely use a drink means, yes, I would love to have a drink. And again, or two. Doesn't mean it has to be one. We say a drink. That doesn't mean just one drink. It means one or two, depending on the situation, maybe even a third. Okay. And in this case, we have could use, I could definitely use, and could use is our grammar point today. So let's go ahead and start talking about that. So could use something means to want or need something. So if you remember before, we had this line here.
We could really use a couple more hands.
Right. So we could really use a couple more hands. Let's just forget about the really. We could use a couple more hands. Tuan, does that mean want or need in this situation, do you think?
We could really use a couple more hands. In this case, need.
Yeah, probably need here. Maybe want, but probably need. The other one we had here.
Yeah, I could definitely use a drink.
How about here? Is this want or need?
This one's a strong one. I think in that case, yeah, it's a very strong one.
Right, right. In general, we might say we need a drink, but generally nobody really needs alcohol, right? So there's with could use, I kind of think of it this way. We have to have something. We have to have a couple more hands. We have to have a couple more people means if we don't have more people, we can't do our work. It's impossible to do without it, right? Need would be just right around there at the same time, but the same level, I think, too. We need a couple more people in order to do our work. Could use is a little bit softer than those two, the way I kind of look at it. So we could use a couple more hands means we need them, but maybe it's possible to do without it. I even think of could use as like, if we had a couple more people, we would use them to help finish our work. Is that a fair explanation, Tuan?
Yeah, I think so. It's helpful to have it, or it'll be good to have, but not essential.
Right. So again, that it's not quite have to have, right? It's not if we don't have it, we can't do the work. It just means it would really, really, really be nice to have. Very, very, very close to need. So it's a little confusing, but just think of it as a want or need to do. And of course, I could use a drink. We often use this a lot. Sounds like need, but again, nobody really needs alcohol in that case. Some people might disagree. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you need alcohol, Tuan. I don't know. We'll leave that open. Okay, so let's take a look at some more examples. So we have this guy here doing some work. He's very tired. You can see the battery is low. So some coffee. How would we change this one, Tuan?
He could use some coffee.
Right. So we would just add could use. So he could use some coffee, right? If he doesn't have it, maybe it's difficult to finish his work. So he needs some coffee to kind of wake him up a little bit, get some energy. Okay, let's look at the next one here. So you can see the ground is very dry. This farmer talking about rain. What would we say here, Tuan?
He's thinking we could use some rain.
We could use some rain, right? We could use some rain, right? Okay, and the next one, this poor guy walking home from work says, I work every day. So you can see no days off, but it's talking about a vacation. So I work every day. What could he use, Tuan?
He's thinking, or he's saying, I could use a vacation or holiday.
I could use a vacation or I could use a holiday, right? I could use a vacation personally or a holiday. It'd be nice. Okay. And one more before we get into the quiz. So we have this couple sitting at home. You can see he's talking about breakfast and then nothing and then nothing. And now he's talking about a hamburger. So he says, I haven't eaten since breakfast. So no dinner, no lunch, only breakfast. I haven't eaten since breakfast. What's he saying there in the second bubble, Tuan?
He's saying I could use maybe something to eat.
Yeah. I could use something to eat. He might be saying I could use a hamburger. Well, it's not crazy to say I could use. And I think we were talking earlier, Tuan, about could use. What would a British person might say in this situation?
Yeah, for me, something more natural would be I could do with.
Right. So instead of
another informal expression.
Right. I could use or I could do with something to eat. Would that be okay?
Yeah, I could do with something to eat.
Right.
That sounds more natural to me.
I never realized this before, but maybe could use is more of a American expression. But could do with, I think some Americans would also say. So this is not necessarily only a British English could do with, but I don't have any data in front of me, but I feel like most Americans would say I could use. But it's also possible to say do with in this situation, just so you know. Is that okay?
Sounds a little more formal. Could use.
Yeah. Okay. So next, let's try a little quiz. So try to finish the sentences. And if you can think of a different answer, let us know in the comments. Okay. So if you can think of a different answer than what we come up with, please write it in the comments. So the first one, We have this young lady early in the morning. You can see the alarm is going off at 7:20. And she's thinking, oh, 8:20 would be very nice right now. So we have another hour of sleep. So how would we answer this one? Please let us know your answer in the comments. What do you think, Tuan?
So she could use another hour of sleep.
Right. So
Or she said, I could use another hour of sleep.
she's talking here, so I could use another hour of sleep. Do you feel this way a lot, Tuan?
Yeah. Right now.
Right now,
I don't get enough sleep.
you could use a nap right now.
I don't get enough sleep these days.
Yeah, I never feel this way. Once I wake up in the morning, once my eyes open, I'm awake. So I have a very hard time going back to sleep after I wake up. It's terrible. So I often wake up way too early. But anyway, the next one. So we have Mia, she's working hard at her house. She's got a lazy husband who doesn't help. So Mia's husband is lazy. So we have she, some help around the house. What do we think here? What's our answer? She.
So she could use some help around the house.
So she could use
Maybe.
some help around the house.
Maybe one of those robot vacuum cleaners.
Oh, do you have one of those?
No.
Oh, we have one of those. They're okay. The problem with the robot vacuum cleaners, if we can go off here, the problem with the robot vacuum cleaner is that you have to move stuff out of the way. Like you have to clean up before it, right? You can't have, like our house, our living room usually looks like a toy factory exploded. Basically, there's toys everywhere in our house. So before you use a robot vacuum, the iRobot or whatever they're called, Roomba, you have to pick up all the toys and stuff. So they're nice, but you still have to do a lot of pre-cleaning before your robot vacuum can actually get to work. So anyway, we could use a maid at our house. Maybe this is what Mia is thinking as well. She could use a housekeeper. She could use a maid, something like that. Also possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cleaner.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So poor girl, very, very sad. So maybe depressed. So she and someone to talk to. So this is our last one with examples here. So I think pretty much everyone should have it. We're just going to add she could use someone to talk to, right? She needs someone to talk to. Hopefully she wants someone to talk to. So we just say she could use someone to talk to. Okay. So next one, we're going to get a little more difficult. You have to fill out the rest of the sentence. So we look here. He has a headache. So what would we say for this over here? What does he need? What does he want? Give you a few minutes. Please write your answer down in the comments. We'll give you a few seconds to think about it and give your answer. Okay, what do you think, Tuan?
If it's a really strong headache, he needs, but we can say he could use some aspirin.
Right, he could use some aspirin, right? He could use, maybe he says he could use some medicine. Okay. let's look at the next one here. So we have a battered and broken phone. Looks like Cartoon Me is saying new phone is good. What do you think? Please write your answer in the comments. Okay, what do you think, Tuan? What's our answer here?
So you're probably saying you could use a new phone.
You could use a new phone, right? What if we said
Maybe
this in
now
the...
with a new,
What's that?
new right to repair. So maybe you could use, how would you say? You could use someone to fix your phone.
Right. You could use someone to fix your phone. That works. What if we could also say this in the past as well, right? You could have used a case. You could have used, could have done, right? You could have used a screen protector or something like that. I don't know. Looks like someone hit it with a hammer. So I don't know if it would have, a screen protector would have been enough, but we could also say it in the past as well, could have used. So in our situation before, when we were talking about having more workers, if you were busy in the past, you could say, we could have used a couple more hands, right? For example, this situation was in the past. You could say, we could have used a couple more hands. So you could say in the past as well. Say could have used. Okay. And our last one. She's thinking, maybe it's summer. From what I hear, I don't have any experience with this, but having long hair in summer is very hot. I wouldn't know. So she's thinking short hair. So what is she thinking here? Please write your answer in the comments. Okay. What do you think, Tuan? She's saying I could use what?
She's saying I could use a haircut is one option. You could also say something like, I could use a new look.
Oh, I could use a new look. Yeah, it's a good one. That one. I could use a trim. Is that okay? So if you just want a little bit cut off, looks like she has a lot cut off, but I could use a trim. If they're just going to cut a little bit off.
We can call it a makeover.
Oh, right.
To change your look, to
Right.
change your style.
Looks here like it's just shorter, but yeah, if it's completely different style, we might use a makeover. I could use a makeover. Maybe okay. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, of course, let us know in the comments below. So Tuan, is there anything you could use right now?
I could use a vacation.
Yeah, it's a big one for me right now.
Yeah.
We could use more followers on Facebook and more subscribers on YouTube. That's a big one.
Yes.
We could use some more people. We could use some new faces in the Acquire English Club. That's another big one. Don't forget
our stuff. Yeah, please recommend it. Please tell your friends. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, don't forget aenglish.club for the Acquire English Club. We're meeting pretty much every day. There's classes. It's just a chance to speak. If you're thinking I could use someone to talk with daily, then that's the place to go. aenglish.club. Hopefully see you soon. Anything to add today, Tuan?
I'm okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will hopefully see you in Facebook and in the comments on YouTube. So take care. Talk to you soon.